Hey kiddies, it's Triple Feature Tuesday once again, and this week we're going to look at Jennifer Connelly and all of her crazy boyfriends.
He scares easily. It makes him so.
That's right, we're going to look at 3 movies in which the absolutely stunning Jennifer Connelly just can't seem to catch a break, significant otherwise. Jennifer Connelly, always wonderful. I've loved her since Labyrinth, just about every other guy my age. The odd thing, though, for as great an actress as she is, you don't see her in a lot of movies. She's just relegated to playing the wife or the girlfriend, without a hell of a lot of agency on her own, which is really annoying. And these 3 movies are not going to be terribly different. We're going to go in increasing order of Jennifer Connelly saving the day. Unfortunately, that only goes so far. Our menu is going to include Dark City, A Beautiful Mind, and Hulk. Honorable mention goes out to Noah. Originally, I was going to have Noah be the first movie, or at least be part of the actual triple feature, Darren Aronofsky's biblical epic with Russell Crowe, which would have been nice because it also would have been something like a Russell Crowe sandwich. Unfortunately, Noah's not crazy. He's a complete asshole, but he's not crazy in the movie because God is actually talking to him, and God is actually going to destroy the world, which is a shame. He could have had a lot more fun that way. The movie is definitely worth watching, but it's sort of weird to see Darren Aronofsky make a movie that is not totally dissimilar to, say, the Paul Bettany Legion movie or the Christopher Walken Prophecy movie where, biblical figures are, sort of weaponized or action-adventure-ified, which is just strange. Dark City, for those of you who haven't seen it, is one of the most incredible sci-fi movies you've never seen. It is brilliant. It is directed by Alex Proyas, director of The Crow, and written by David Goyer, back in the days before he decided to ruin every single DC comic book character that I grew up loving. Rufus Sewell plays John Murdoch, who has lost his mind. Literally, he can't remember anything. He's amnesiac and is presumed to be some sort of serial killer that murders women, prostitutes, and then ends up drawing creepy spirals, not unlike this one, into their flesh, because, well, why wouldn't you? Jennifer Connelly plays Emma. Emma or Anna? She either starts out Emma and becomes Anna, or starts out Anna and becomes Emma. Either way, she plays John Murdoch's wife, who cheated on her, except she didn't, because, you'd have to watch the movie. And she is just worried about her husband, who has run off, just around the same time that all these murders happened, and she sort of cheated on him, and he's not dealing with it well. Unfortunately, Jennifer Connelly doesn't really have a lot to do. She has a couple scenes where she's a nightclub singer, which is just lovely, excellent use of Jennifer Connelly. But she doesn't really have a lot of character or agency to her. Now, this isn't technically a detractor for the film, because the premise is that, spoilers for a movie that is about 20 years old and you didn't watch it, the first time. Aliens have abducted all of these people, and they're kind of mixing and matching and rewriting their memories willy-nilly in some sort of grand social experiment. The fact that half of these characters come off as ciphers sort of plays into that motif. Unfortunately, it means that she doesn't really have a lot to do, because she's not one of the actiony hero characters or villain characters. We got John Murdoch, Kiefer Sutherland, Richard O'Brien is brilliant, scary guy, and they're all out and about doing things. Jennifer Connelly ends up being not necessarily a bargaining chip, but sort of like a football that gets passed around them all. But she definitely cares and worries about him, but unfortunately, since they don't really have a real relationship, it doesn't resonate as much as you would hope that it would. And in the end, she really doesn't have any sort of role to play in saving the day, other than being the prize at the end of the movie, which is sort of cheapening of her, because, again, Jennifer Connelly, she's wonderful. Next up, we have Ron Howard's A Beautiful Mind, which is a biopic of the Nobel Prize-winning economist Nobel Prize-winning mathematician? Or did he win for economy? Either way, Nobel Prize winning John Nash. Liberties were taken with the film, explained by Ron Howard and all the other filmmakers to explain why it doesn't actually match up with Nash's life 100%. Not the least of which around the character of his wife, Alicia, played by Jennifer Connelly. because she's wonderful. John Nash has full-on schizophrenia. He keeps seeing people that aren't there and seeing conspiracies and generally being paranoid and very, very, out of touch with reality, even, outside of just being a mathematician. In the end, the movie casts her as the motivation for him. She and his son become the driving force for him to get his crazy under control. And she has a lot of really great scenes to that effect. Like, not in addition to just, her opening scene where she's, getting the workmen to chill out during their class so that, they can keep the windows open and still listen to Russell Crowe hear himself talk. Up to she will only go along with John Nash's mental illness so far until it becomes a danger to her and their son. And it's really good to see her, even as a woman back then, taking control and not letting, her husband, the patriarch of the family, just kind of go nuts and ruin their lives. But she has a lot of good speeches. Like after he decides not to go back on medication, she has a good little speech. But again, Jennifer Connelly, underutilized in this film. Mainly because the movie really is all about John Nash and John Nash's struggle. And when it's mental illness, it really is going to focus on that main character dealing with that mental illness, and everybody's going to be servicing that plot. But still, just use her more. She's great. Finally, we have Ang Lee's adaptation of Marvel Comics' Hulk, which is in fact a terrible adaptation of Marvel Comics' Hulk, but a fairly interesting movie to watch in and of itself in terms of like a big budget special effects extravaganza / exploration of childhood trauma and how it expresses itself. Eric Bana plays Bruce Banner, who through a convoluted series of events becomes the Hulk. Jennifer Connelly plays Betty Ross, who is Bruce Banner's on-again, off-again girlfriend in the comics. In the comics, she's predominantly the girlfriend, but in the movie, they promote her to full-on scientist working alongside of Banner in the same project, which is a first great step in the right direction. And all throughout the movie, she's the only one that seems to genuinely care about Bruce. Everybody else either wants the power that he has within him, or just for him to go away and die, whereas she's the only one that's actually trying to address the root problems. What's neat is the movie presents the Hulk as a symptom of Bruce's fractured psyche, his repression of the traumatic events that he witnessed in his childhood. And she's the only one that's actually trying to get him to work through it, because maybe if he works through it, either he would have more control over the Hulk, or better yet, maybe the Hulk just won't come out anymore because he's not reacting to it. And so you see her actively trying to get him to overcome this childhood pain in discussions and taking him back to where he lived at first. And when all of that, of course, fails and he goes on a really, really visually stunning rampage throughout the Southwest, it's only Betty that figures out how to stop him, because all the army is trying to do is shoot the problem in the face, except when you shoot the Hulk in the face, it just makes him angry, and when he gets angry, he gets stronger, and in this version, exponentially bigger. It's really sort of silly how huge the Hulk ends up getting by the end of this sequence. He's about the size of a small house, I would say. But she's the only one that figures out you just have to calm him down. You have to stop giving him something to react to. And so she volunteers and puts herself in harm's way to give Hulk something to look at and relax and eventually revert back to Bruce Banner. So she's the one that actually saves the day in terms of property damage at the end. They have this sort of tacked on bad guy fight with Nick Nolte as some version of the Absorbing Man, which, again, like I said in the beginning, is not a great movie at all. And it just is, I mean, half the time the movie's just complete nonsense, like this last sequence, which, credit to Aang for coming up with some really neat visual ideas, but they don't really service the story at all, or the characters. But either way, the actual day in Hulk is saved by Jennifer Connelly stopping the Hulk from destroying all of San Francisco, which we're going to chalk that up as a win. And we're going to just keep crediting Jennifer Connelly for being able to survive everything that her crazy boyfriends throw at her, no matter what they turn out to be. Hopefully she gets more lead roles, starring roles. Why aren't we building more movies around her? Like, the last one I can think of where she was like the real main star was Darkwater, and that was just... Darkwater just wasn't that great. Yeah, why not? Like, guys, Jennifer Connelly, why aren't you using her more? And make her a star. Like all these Marvel movies, you're gonna do a Spider-Woman movie eventually. Jessica Drew... Jennifer Connelly would make a great Jessica Drew. Just ask Mark Gatiss. Either way, that'll do it for this week, and I'll see you guys next time.